Alright guys, welcome to the channel. This is my 2022 GMC Yukon XL. So the XL is the longer version. It's the SLE trim. So it's pretty basic as far as options go. The only option this really has on it is the satin steel core, and then if you see here, the Duramax 3-liter engine paired with the 10-speed transmission. I'm doing a kind of a towing test review of this. I've had this about a year and a half, and I have about 16,000 miles on it. I've got some stuff in here that's going to be a little heavier. So I've got this all this tool cabinet, all my riding gear, these cabinets. So it's probably about, I'd bet it's probably close to 3,000 pounds overall towing this. But I'm going to pick up a kind of a new toy for the garage here. We're getting a razor, like side-by-side razor, and we're going to get it strapped in here. So I'm going to go pick this up, but I've got to go about 170-mile round trip, and we're going to see how this tows this. I really want to see, like, you know, how it's going to handle it and how it's going to do on MPG. I have on my hitch is a WaySafe hitch, and you can see it has a scale on it, and this scale shows you what your tongue weight is. I'm about 500 pounds. It's empty. So this trailer is a little tongue heavy just because I have a lot of weight in the front. So when I get the razor loaded in the back here, it should equal out that a little bit. It won't be as heavy on the tongue. So we're just getting ready to take off here. When you plug in a trailer on this, it automatically turns on the trailering mode. So I can manually change the modes right here. If I do this, turn this dial here, it will change to, there's normal, sport, off-road, tow haul. And when you have tow haul on with the diesel, it will turn the exhaust brake on. I also have this, this is actually a GM accessory. It's the Kurt Spectrum trailer brake controller on this one, because this particular Yukon doesn't have the max tow package. But you can get these installed here, and it actually tows the same amount whether you have the max tow package or not on this. So this Yukon, as it's configured with the this doesn't have the max tow package, it just has the Duramax diesel engine, the 10-speed transmission. The XL version is the longer version of the Yukon, so it's a longer wheelbase. So the maximum tow rating is 7,700 pounds. And like I was saying, it's the same as if whether you have the max tow package or not. The max tow package just gives you like the integrated trailer brake controller. I think it gives a little bit bigger either radiator or transmission cooler. Our trip going down, we should get better economy going down than coming back. We're going to be doing the same route, you know, down and back. But because we're going to have 2,000 pounds on our way back, we'll see what the MPG is. But we'll kind of see. I'm going to guess it's going to be between 12 to 15 MPG. Probably 13 to 14 on the way down, maybe 12 to 13 on the way back. That's my guess. I've towed this trailer once before, right when this thing was brand new, and it wasn't very far. So I want to give, now this is broken in a little bit, I've got, you know, almost 17,000 miles on it, ready to see kind of how it does MPG wise. When you do tow with this, you are using more boost. So the turbocharger, you know, you're using the turbo more, and you're also using more diesel exhaust fluid. So, but really, if this gets around 13 miles to the gallon towing, I mean, this trailer is not very aerodynamic. It does have a slight V to it, but it's you know, it's a big brick you're pulling, and really it's the aerodynamics that are dragging it down rather than just the weight, because the weight's really not that heavy right now. It has a lot of aerodynamic drag that's going to make it not as efficient. I even had problems when I towed this same trailer with my 3500 HD, my Silverado Duramax. That thing got like 9 miles to the gallon, and I was actually shocked that it did so poorly. But when you have a lot of wind resistance, that does use more fuel. So we're going to see. We're getting on the freeway here. We got about 85 miles to go. All right, the speed limit on this road is 70 miles an hour. I'm going to go just below that, 65 to 68, maybe 69. It just depends on traffic. Traffic's really not that bad right now. It's a little later in the evening and shouldn't hit too much traffic. But usually when I'm towing, I like to go a little bit slower, just to give myself a little more following distance, a little more room, a little more buffer. It just seems to be safer to go a little bit slower. So we'll see. I'm not going to go the speed. I'll go a little bit slower than the speed limit. Doesn't feel like I have much wind. I don't think wind's going to be a huge factor. It's not very windy out right now. But it is 90 degrees, so we'll see. And I shouldn't have much of an elevation change. It should be relatively flat. Alright, so we are about 55 miles into the journey here, and you can see my MPG 16.4, and I've set the cruise at 68, so that's kind of been my set speed, and speed limit 70, so I'm just going just under the speed limit. This is done really good, handled great. It looks like the RPMs, I'm staying around 1600, maybe 1700 RPMs. There's been a couple inclines where it's had to downshift to 2, and it'll go up to 2000 RPMs, but nothing over 2000. It helps that I'm going under the speed limit. If I was going 75 or something, you know, like my MPG would be obviously less, but I think it's doing really good for being around the speed limit. One thing I wish that this vehicle had, I don't know if the trucks have this, but the full-size SUVs do not. You see how over here on the gear selector there's a plus and minus where you can change gears, you know, if you want to go down to 9th, 8th, 7th gear, whatever it is. Well, it doesn't display which gear you're in, so if I'm looking here on the gauge cluster, I can't find out where, if that's even an option to display that. It doesn't look like it is, but I can't see what gear I'm in. I've had a couple Ford F-150s in the past, and they've been helpful to be able to show what gear it's in. That would be helpful if GM would show that, because if I'm going to downshift, if I'm in 8th gear, I want to know if I need to downshift, upshift, especially having a 10-speed transmission. It's not as clear as to which gear I'm in. All right, I'm about a mile from my destination here. We've gone 84 miles, 16.5 MPG. That's been pretty good. So we're going to get loaded up here. We'll have a 2,000-pound cargo on the way back home, and we'll see how it compares. All right, we got our Razor loaded up here in the trailer, and this is about 2,000 pounds. We're going to see how our MPG is now with this thing in the trailer. All right, guys, so we got the Razor all loaded up. What's interesting is it didn't add any more tongue weight. I still only have 500 pounds on the tongue, which the trailer's probably about close to 5,000 pounds right now, and with 500 pounds, that's 10%. That's perfect. So I'm going to go the same speed, 68 miles an hour. We've got about 85 miles to go, and we're just going to see how, if we get close to this. We got 16.5 coming down here, empty. We'll see if 2,000 pounds, how much effect that has. I just got to my destination here, and this is our average coming home, 14.3 MPG. Again, we're towing an extra 2,000 pounds, so I expected it to be a little bit less, and that's still pretty good with the amount of weight. So this is probably about a 5,000 pound weight. So here's the trip meter that I reset at the beginning of my trip. 170 miles, 15.4 MPG overall average. Pretty good for this vehicle. So I'm done towing with my Yukon. I just need to take my hitch out. This has the hitch is actually covered up by this plastic part right here. You've got a 7-way pin and four-way there. So, and these anchors for the tow hooks, really easy to, really nice and accessible. So when you're not using the tow package, this hides really well. It's nice to have an adjustable hitch with this. I use this WaySafe one, but this is nice because this is a 6-inch drop. But because this sits up a little bit higher, for a lot of trailers you're going to need a drop, and a lot of times you're going to need to adjust that down. And so previously I had it all the way down, and now I only have it, I brought it up a little bit because this sags down a little bit when I put the trailer on it. You want to keep that trailer nice and level when you do that. So I pull that off, just put this back on. These clips here just push into the top. And I just twist those little knobs underneath there, and it covers that right back up. This did a good job towing that. There was no problems. It didn't struggle. Having that turbo, the inline 6, it does have a lot of torque. I think it's like 460 pound-feet of torque, and this motor with the turbo on it. So it does really good towing. I thought the MPG was pretty good too. 15.3 over 170 miles. I think it's pretty good for the size of that trailer, because that does have a lot of wind resistance when you're pulling that. So whether you have a lot of load or just a little bit of load in there, you're still not going to get great MPG pulling that trailer because of just how the way it's shaped. But I think this Duramax did a great job. This would do a lot better job. This is a lot better job than like my gas truck. I have a Silverado with the 5.3, and that probably would have gotten 7-8 miles of the gallon towing the same trailer. So I'm impressed with this. This is my go-to tow rig. If I got to tow something, I'm going to tow it with this as opposed to the gas truck, because it just does a great job. Only limitation is this only tows 7,700 pounds. That's kind of the limitation of this. One thing also, on the inside of the driver's door, you can check the towing weights, the capacity, tongue weights, things like that. What's interesting is this has a payload capacity of only 1,600 pounds, which I think that's kind of low for this size of vehicle. Really, it boils down to like the tires, the brakes. I mean, you don't want to have more than 1,600 pounds, but that also includes the tongue weight. So I had almost 500 pounds of tongue weight. Max tongue weight on this is 770 pounds. So if you had that much tongue weight, you could only have like 900 pounds of people and cargo inside of this. So that's something to consider. So if you're towing something less than 7,700 pounds, this is the way to go. This 3-liter Duramax in this Yukon. It does a great job. I'm impressed with it. Glad I have it. This has been a great vehicle. We really like this vehicle. When you have 4 kids, my wife and I have 4 kids like we do, having a big vehicle like this to haul everyone, to tow things, to store a lot, to haul a lot of stuff is really fantastic. So this has been a great vehicle. In addition to the Teslas we have Teslas kind of for around town stuff. This is kind of our just to use for this kind of stuff here, towing, carrying, and road trips. It does great at that. Guys, feel free to leave your comment down below. I'm curious to see what your MPG usage has been if you guys have the 3-liter Duramax. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one. Thanks.